Okay, as far as reports, some of it I put out to you in the packets, but just a heads up with looking at the ICN room at the high school, whether that's a continued good investment in logic is cost, because we're going to need the space, so it costs to move it. The other thing is as we become one district, we really need two ICN rooms in one district. And the ICN room is at a higher level, and it's at a different level of phase 2 ICN room. I learned a little bit about this. Anyway, so on that, and that needs to continue in SAC. So just a heads up on that. We've been in contact with the folks at Benchmark for the SAC roof a couple of times, and they're supposed to be up next week. I don't know what the snow's going to do to getting up on the roof and all of that, but that'll continue to unfold. Just heads up to the SAC board that we may need to look at a special meeting at some point to deal just with that issue. Technology was mentioned earlier. RevNords was down over the holidays, updated, similar to what we did at the middle school and at SAC Elementary School to Wall Lake Elementary and to the high school. I think in your packets I used the term we had some hiccups, and that would be an understatement. We've had some hiccups that we're working through. It's getting better, but we really are on borrowed time with the servers, so we still have to worry about that again today. Which kind of leads into the next item is I think earlier I had shared with you that immediate concerns and then long-term planning for technology. The long-term planning is taking shape, and we named the committee Learning for the 21st Century. Committee makeup of people have been invited to serve on that. It's a pretty broad representation. We may add a couple more members to that committee, but that's geared up for the first meeting January 24th to start that planning process. And we would envision that's going to be several months or longer. Take as long as it takes to do this right. But hopefully we'll come out of that with some long-range plans, especially in the area of technology. I think two other points I would share. One is that looking at the possibility of utilizing cameras in the high school and or middle school. We're not ready to bring that forward other than we're talking about it, looking at it for security reasons. And then we're also going to be looking at all 4 buildings, some kind of different system for locks and doors and whatnot. And again, nothing in the immediate future on that. But what we're talking about is some kind of a card system that would be a much greater level of security for all of our buildings. The cost of that will be high enough to probably phase that in a piece at a time. But my guess is come summertime we're going to be getting pretty serious about that. And then the last thing is congratulations to Frank for his bank retirement. Just a couple days or what, months under 50 years, is that right? Isn't that amazing? I think we should give a hand for that.
What'd you say?
Not all the same boss
No.
for 50 years.
Actually, that's 6 different bosses.
Oh my.
I lasted them all.
Does he
That's
get
how we
it?
gave up, that we're not going to change it.
I was going to say, did he outlast him or did he push him off?
That's good. That's what I have.
Okay.
On this matter of the ICN roads, you want to talk more about that now, or do you want to wait?
Sounds good.
Well, how much is the ICN room in this building used?
Kevin, you might want to address that.
From a high school standpoint, very little. What's happening now in the world of technology is instead of using the ICN, which at one time was almost the exclusive network to get outside information via colleges, whatever, they're going to more webinars and Skype meetings and things like that. So, for instance, just 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I was watching a thing from Marzano on different teaching techniques and data collection and stuff like that. It's all via the computer, your own personal computer, using a webinar. I'm trying to think of where we've used the ICN room here in this building this year. I don't think we have.
I'm
Now,
not
I
sure it's going
know-
to matter after this legislative session either.
What's that?
I don't think it's going to matter after this legislative session. The Republicans have it on their list to sell it.
Yeah, they've been trying to privatize it for quite a while. I know Sherry Crabb has used it once a month maybe, something like that for her kids. Bringing her kids from Wall Lake Elementary up here for an ICN session. I do know that, and we have just a few. Yeah.
For Spanish or something, or what?
No, I don't even know.
Just for, like, science, videos and things like that.
Well, Mike and I did talk about that when this idea came up, and I said, how big a deal is that? We put the kids on the bus, and if it's important enough to do, it means they're going to be on the bus for another 10 minutes and go up and use the sack site. And yeah, that's an inconvenience, so that's something we'd be giving up, but,
I thought there was an ICN room in your community center.
There is.
Why don't they just use that then?
Very well could.
I mean,
All we
that
have to
would
do
make
is,
sense.
all we'd have to do is make sure that it's scheduled at that site.
They were,
Let them know.
I know that when the community center was built, that was the intention, that the school could make use of it.
No busing, you can walk across the street now.
I guess I didn't realize there was an ICN
I
session.
didn't either.
Every community has a number of them. In fact, we have one at the hospital, the library, and the high school. I knew there was one at the community center in Wall Lake, and then here, and I think the library has one here too. So, it's more than you know, but they may all be gone shortly.
Well, they did a good job of selling them to education at the time, but there's a lot of money spent on those things and very little use.
I think it was expensive to
Yeah.
install it, but nobody's really upgraded it, and they came in with Branstead the last time, so it's pretty old. We don't use them anymore for any meetings, so.
So I'm guessing we wouldn't need to worry too much about the loss of that.
good. And I learned a lot, I didn't know. Anything else for me?